What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Love After Lockup, you guys. I am finally back with Love After Lockup. This is season 4, episode number 3, you guys. The episode is titled Don't Track Me. Now, you guys, I've watched the last 2 episodes of this season. These couples right here are a hot mess, right? I think the theme of this season, like what I said with Love During Lockup, idiots. A lot of people are just doing some dumb shit that I'm like, what are y'all doing? But before we get into the review, you guys, if you guys are watching this video or any other on my channel, and you guys are not subscribed to the channel, I need you guys to do me a solid favor and do me that solid favor by liking the video, you guys. One, stop taking my monetization and having me pay for it. Do me that favor by liking the video, subscribe to the channel, turning your notifications on, and sharing the video, you guys. And with that out the way, without further ado, let's discuss Love After Lockup. All right, you guys. So the first couple that I want to talk about is Taylor and Chance. I have so many issues with Taylor. I just have a lot of issues with Taylor. Taylor's laugh is so hideously annoying. Then the way that Taylor talks, she talks so slow, like she's reading from a teleprompter. So, now the last episode, Taylor went to go pick up Chance from prison, right? I died laughing when her car would not start, her battery died. I'm like, damn. You were mad about them not releasing him at 9:30, but then you were still late leaving, right? So they finally were on the road. He was ready to have sex with her, right? Like, the thing with Taylor and Chance is rude and Chance is controlling as hell, right? So I really have a big, huge issue with Taylor. One, because of her daughters, and two, because of her sister, right? So I don't understand Chance whatsoever, right? So Chance's whole thing is talking about, with Bobby, her sister, that he is like, she needs to get a job and pull her weight. I'm like, dude, that is her sister, right? If she is okay with her sister watching her kids, doing whatever with her kids, that is between Bobby and Taylor, not you and Taylor and Bobby. You need to worry about getting yourself a job, holding your own weight. You need to pay a bill. You can pay all the bills. You need to worry about holding your own weight, right? But you talking about her sister. Like, I was just like, I know you fucking lying to me, right? So then the other issue that I had, so I have an issue because I feel like, listen to the way she talks, she would let him come in between she and her sister. She just gives that vibe, right? And then the other issue I have is the fact that you have literally moved Chance into your home with your 3 girls, right? Now, the interaction with him and the girls was really good, right? I like the interaction, right? But I don't like I don't like this whole situation, right? I just have an issue with people who bring strangers around their children, right? I just don't like that. I really don't, right? So we found out that they had sex. She didn't complain about the sex. The sex was good, right? So then we see them as they go pick up the girls from school, right? So they get back to the house. Chance is playing with the girls. He's kicking the ball to one, and then one of the little girls, he's tossing her in the air. Then the other little girl, she got a little jealous, and she ran into the house. So the oldest daughter, as well as Taylor, went into the house behind her, right? So she was like, Chance doesn't want to play with me. And like I said, the interaction with Chance was really good, right? He was good with the girls. But the issue that I really have with that situation is the fact that your daughters you can see that your daughters are completely attached to Chance already, right? So what happens if things don't work out between you and Chance? Not only will you be broken, but your daughters will be as well, right? That's why I say y'all just gotta take your time. And this is even for someone who's not even in prison. I'm not even just saying this because he was in prison. This is just for any regular old person, right? When you first meet someone and you start dating someone, don't be so quick to introduce them to your kids. If you got kids, don't be so quick to introduce them to your kids. Wait at least 6 months or so, right? I would say at least wait 6 months to a year, right? Even then, I would still be a little iffy about it because you want to feel the relationship out and you want to see where the relationship is going to go. And then when they're in prison, that's a different situation, right? Because if you're in prison while we're dating and you're in prison and I got kids, it's gonna be a long time before you meet my kids, right? It would be a very long time. I wouldn't even say 6 months to a year. Like we could be dating for 6 months to a year, but then when you get out of jail, we gotta add another time. We gotta add some more time to that, right? Because I gotta get to know you outside of the jail. Because when you're in jail, you could just be saying things to pass the time, right? So I would be apprehensive about that, and I just don't think that Taylor is, right? So then the last scene we see with Taylor and Chance is, now that he's out of prison, Taylor, she did something nice for him, right? She got him a job with one of her friends, right? So he's talking to the friend on the phone and he finds out that, he has his license is suspended because he had a citation from 2018. And Chance was like, I've been in jail since 2013 and I just got out of jail in 2021. When in the hell did I have time to get a citation in 2018? Now, I was on his side with that situation, right? I'm on his side. I'm on your side about the whole citation situation, right? But the way that he was talking to Taylor, I was just like, dude, you coming off a little bit rude to her. Like, why be so rude to Taylor? Like, she's trying to help you, and then here you are being dead ass rude. Like, I just didn't understand it. But that's it for Taylor and Chance, you guys, and we're going to move over to the next couple. So we're going to pause here and move forward to the next couple. All right, guys, so the next couple is going to be Rick and Ray Dean, and I'm still stuck on what the fuck kind of name is Ray Dean. No shade to your mama, Ray Dean, but what the hell? Now, I know that they're in Texas. I'm trying to think about where is Cedar, Texas at? I don't know where Cedar is. I don't know where Cedar is. I know Cedar Hill. That's in Dallas. I don't know where Cedar is. I have to look that up. Oh, I know, because I did see something. Amarillo. It's near Amarillo. Oh, wow. I would never go that far down. Okay. Neither here nor there. But hey, so we got two Texas couples. I'm like, oh, God, two Texas people. Y'all making us look even worse than we already look sometimes in the news, right? So, Ray Dean, she is, in the halfway house, right? So they found out that she has been furloughed for 48 hours, I believe it is, so she can go home and be with her family for Thanksgiving, right? And her family has invited over Rick. Now I want to talk about Rick real quick. That first episode when Rick got up and pulled his pants down, I was like, what in the hell is going on? You know something that I noticed with a lot of these couples this season? There are huge age gaps between them, right? Rick is in his 40s. Ray Dean is 29, right? She is a hard meth 29. When Ray Dean came out of that halfway house and she started smiling, I was like, oh my God. You can really tell she was on meth because her teeth are fucked up. I know I ain't got the best teeth, but my God. That is why I can never do meth. I already, I love my smile semi, but I know damn well I can never do meth because I just don't want my mouth to look like that. Meth mouth is bad. But yeah, Ray Dean is 29 because he got with her when she was 19, and I'm like, wow, a 40-year-old man with a 19-year-old. And then Chance is 41, and what? Taylor's like, what, 26, 27, something like that? Y'all like him young, don't you, huh? So, like I was saying, you can really tell that you can tell that old girl Ray Dean she's been on drugs, right? Because she looks old for 29. She looks because when I first saw Ray Dean, I was like, damn. Because when I first saw her, before I even saw her age on the screen, I'm like, damn, is she? I was like, because I remembered, I'm like, wait a minute, Rick and Ray Dean's supposed to be younger than Rick, but they look like they're the exact same age. Actually, she looks a little bit older than him. Damn, I would never do meth, right? I would just never, ever, ever do meth. What took me out in this scene with Ray Dean was when her crotch started ringing and she stuck her hand in her pants and took that phone out. I was like, what the hell is going on here? I died laughing, right? So Ray Dean had a secret from Rick, right? Shit, she didn't waste no time telling him what the secret was. Ray Dean is different than a lot of these criminals that we see come out of prison, right? When they had these secret girlfriends and boyfriends, right? Ray Dean told him straight up, like, yo, I got a girlfriend. Her name is Kay. And Kay ain't going nowhere. He says, well, yeah, she's not going anywhere from 4 to 24 years or something like that. I'm like, oh, the sarcasm, right? But he says he's not threatened by her. I'm like, you kind of making me think that that's a lie, right? So, what Ray Dean want is to date Rick and to date Kay. But Rick, he said he ain't poly, and if they're gonna be a family, it's gonna have to be between him and her. She says, well, we'll talk about that when we get to that point. I was like, oh, baby. Ray Dean said, I am going to do what I want to do, and if you don't like it, deuces to you, man. So then we see them make it to her mom and dad's house, right? Now, the last episode, when we met her parents, did her dad say he was on drugs? At one point, he was on drugs? Damn. And then when she was talking about what she did to her brother, she's like, and she made it seem like it was nothing. I'm like, Ray Dean, you trying to unlive your brother. Girl, were you high when you did? I think everything that Ray Dean probably did was in her high days. God. You guys, say no to drugs. Say no to crack. Say no to cocaine. Say no to meth. Say no to all of that shit. Say no to it. Say no. So we see her talking to her mama. Oh my God, I'm trying to not to be shady and no shit like that, but that food that her mama was cooking, what the fuck was that? That shit looked nasty. I couldn't tell you what any of that stuff was. And then when her mama asked Ray Dean to put them biscuits in the oven, I was like, so you ain't gonna get no oven mitt? Like an oven mitt, girl, because you put your hands on some of them. Baby, oven mitts, please. That is why I don't do potlucks, right? That is one of the main reasons I don't do a potluck. And not I said the pussycat. He don't do potlucks, right? So, Kay FaceTimes the family. I was like, wait a minute, how does she FaceTime the family and she's in prison? They got a lot of liberties in prison. Not that many, but they got some liberties in prison. And I'm just like, wow, interesting, right? So we find out that the family knew about Ray Dean and never told Rick. So Rick is in his feelings, and Rick is like, well, he needs some answers. I'm like, Rick, that's between you and Ray Dean, not her family. Like, that's a personal problem between you and Ray Dean. This season is going to be interesting, you guys. Let's pause here and we're gonna move forward. All right, you guys. So I'm literally going in order of the couples, how we saw them. So next up is Kevin and Tiffany, another Texas person. He's in Arlington. I was like, oh God, why y'all making Texas look even worse? So Tiffany has been released from prison, right? She's at the halfway. Well, actually, before this, Tiffany was not released from prison. Tiffany got she got in trouble before her release date, right? They took it away from her because she and her girlfriend got caught having sex, right? So they locked her in her cell for 24 hours. She had no communication, no phone calls, no nothing. So that's why he didn't know that she didn't get out of prison, right? And she just at this point of the episode, this was when she was just able to get in contact with them, right? So she tells him that, hey, I'm gonna be getting out of jail in about 2 days, right? He says, okay, so I'm gonna be coming to get you, right? She's like, I don't know about that. Kevin, you might want to go find your ex and have sex with her, right? Because Tiffany is doing her, right? Tiffany is doing her, so might as well do you right. Now here's the thing they threw me, right? He's okay with her having a girlfriend, but he ain't okay with her having another boyfriend. Well, looks like you're going to have to cross that bridge in next week's episode that she got another boyfriend. So then we see him. He went out to a cigar bar with his homie, right? And he's talking about Ray Dean, how, she went to the halfway house and, he hadn't talked to her in days. And then when she did talk to him, he said, well, I'm going to be coming to get you pretty soon, right? She's like, I don't know about that because somebody else is going to come and get me, right? So then we moved 13 miles over, which I don't know if they meant, 13 miles. They could have been, they didn't say where. It could have been Fort Worth. More than likely it's Fort Worth. More than likely it's Fort Worth that guy, he lives in, he could live over in the Fort Worth area, because Arlington to Fort Worth is not that far. Because it ain't Dallas. It damn sure ain't, it could be. Actually, it could be like Irving or something like that, right? Because Irving and Arlington are not that far apart. So he could be in Fort Worth. He could be in the metro, in the DFW side, right? I don't know. I don't honestly give a damn. I just saw 13 miles, and I'm like, y'all ain't gonna tell us 13 miles where? But hey, so now see, here's the thing that kind of confused me, right? So he said that him and Tiffany were never in a relationship, but it says her ex-boyfriend, right? Now, I forgot what his name was, so that's why I keep saying he, because I forgot what his name was already. He got big-ass elf ears, and I know I can't talk about nobody's ears, but his ears were pointy. I just noticed that. I noticed that in looking at his interview. I'm like, his ears are a little bit pointy. So the ex is going to be picking her up from the halfway house, right? Meanwhile, Kevin's homeboy saying, well, you know what? You had already had this planned out. Why don't you pull up there to see who's picking her up? I'm like, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be a good idea, right? And we see it next week. That's not going to be a good idea because old boy is going to be there, right? So old boy said that, him and Ray Dean, they talked on Facebook, right? But she goes to him, right? And he found out the reason that she goes to him is because she was in prison, and he found that out when she made a new Facebook page, and she told him that she missed him, right? Okay. Listen to your friend, homie. Your friend ain't gonna steer you wrong, because you might want to be leery of little Miss Tiffany, right? Oh, God. All right, you guys, so we're gonna pause here and we're gonna move forward. All right, you guys, the next person we gotta talk about is Indy and Harry. I was not looking forward to seeing Indy at all again, because Indy just is, Indy is a special case, right? Indy is a special case. That's all I gotta say about Indy. She's a very special case. So we see Indy and Harry, right? Now you guys remember, I didn't talk about last week's episode, but in last week's episode, remember, if you watched last week's episode, Harry got out of the halfway house, right? His family was at Lydia, his sister's house, and they were cooking for him, right? Indy and Harry stopped at a fast food place, got him a burger, right? And got his homie some burgers, right? And they took it back to the halfway house. The family was upset because it was 2:00 in the morning, and they wanted to see Harry, which I get that, right? That was inconsiderate on both Harry and Indy's part, right? And Indy, of all people, should have said, well, Harry, your family's cooking. Like, why don't we go back to the crib and, be with your family, right? We can take them some food some other time. But nope, she didn't say that, right? So when Harry got back to the house, him and Lydia had a big blow up, right? I'm on Lydia's side. Because Harry was inconsiderate, right? Harry was very, very inconsiderate, right? So Lydia and Indy and Harry sit down. Indy apologizes to Lydia, right? And she says, can we still stay here? And Lydia was like, yeah, y'all can still stay here. But she says, me and him need to talk, right? Now, with Lydia and Harry, I was like, oh, y'all ain't gonna be able to get nowhere, because these two they're both two hot-headed people, right? I'm like, they were cussing each other out. They were talking over each other. I was like, this ain't gonna work. I don't know how y'all gonna make this work. I just don't know how y'all gonna make this work. But like I said before, Harry, I get Harry wanted to do something nice for his boys, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But Harry, that was kind of inconsiderate. No, and now Harry, I don't believe Indy told him about his family cooking for him. Actually, yes, she did. Yes, she did. Because he said he didn't want that. He wanted a burger, right? So I got to take that back about Indy. But I mean, here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. Because what, didn't he get out at midnight? Didn't he get out the halfway house at midnight, right? I just want to know what the fuck took so long between midnight and 2 a.m. That's the only question I have. What the hell happened between then and that time, right? That's the only question I have. That is the only question that I have. So then we see Harry, right? So Harry went over to his friend John's house, who was also in the halfway house with him, right? Indy, you're insecure because you asking him if it's gonna be any women over there. You're very insecure. You need to get over that insecurity. You're insecure. You're very insecure. But I'm not gonna defend her with the insecurities. Well, that's it. Yes, I am. Because Harry, you ain't helping it. You ain't helping it. But I also gotta say to Indy, you didn't think shit through either. Much like I said about TAYLER, you are in the same boat as her, right? You got kids. Even and let's just take out your kid. Let's take out your kids for a second, right? Let's just omit your kid. Well, no, because the fact that your baby calls him Poppy Daddy, that is cringy. I hate hearing that little girl say that to him. I hate that, right? That bothers that really bothers my spirit when that baby calls him Poppy Daddy. Indy, you need to nip that in the bud and correct that. Tell her that is not your poppy and that is not your daddy. Call him Uncle Harry. Call him Mr. Harry. Call him whatever, right? But then the other thing that I have issue with Indy, even here, and Harry was making mention to this, right? He didn't say it the way that I'm going to say it, but in a nutshell, Indy has unrealistic expectations of Harry. Harry is 24 years old. Harry has been in prison for, I don't know, I forgot how many years he's been in prison, but Harry has been in prison for a while. And now you want him to come out, be an instant father, and you want to get married. You have unrealistic expectations of this man. And I think it's something that we all say for a lot of people, right? Like with Chevelle and Quaylon. Chevelle had those expectations of Quaylon when he got out of jail to be a father figure and to be, her husband, right? And especially, my thing is, especially when you get with someone who is young like Harry is, right? Harry is 24. So you know that Harry has been in jail well into from his teenage years to now, right? Why do you think that he's still, and I'm not saying he's a kid, right? But mentally, he still has probably that same mind frame of a kid when he went into jail, right? So Harry has to come out of jail, get acclimated to the free world, one, and then, figure out the man that he wants to be, right? But you're not really allowing that because you want him to be so much to you and to your daughter. And I just have an issue with that. I really do. And I have the issue with it because of your daughter. Not because it's Harry, because of your daughter. Like, did you think about your kid at all? Like, I just had that question, right? So Harry did confirm that he did cheat on her when he was in a halfway house. We knew that. I don't really care, right? So we're going to pause here and we're going to move forward. All right, you guys. So the next person I'm going to talk about is LACEY and Antoine, right? So we see LACEY. So LACEY told us that she was introduced to Antoine via his mother. And I'm like, how? That just, nope, wouldn't have happened with me. So when she sat down with his mama Christy, mama was, she was lit. And she was slurring her words when she was talking to LACEY. I'm like, LACEY, why did you sit down with this woman? She told her to take a shot, and she took her shot, right? And when she started talking, she was slurring her words. I'm like, LACEY, do you not hear her slurring her words? Granted, I will say though, although she was slurring her words, I believe that Antoine's mom was speaking some real factual shit to LACEY, but LACEY just didn't want to hear it, right? I really believe that his mother was speaking some factual shit to her ass, but she didn't want to listen to it, right? Nobody wants to hear. Nobody wants to listen to a drunk, because I mean, like they say, a sober mind, a drunk mind speaks a sober heart, right? Is that what this, whatever that saying is, right? I'm like, you don't want to listen to his mother, but I believe his mother knows what she's saying. She knows what she's talking about, and I'm like, I don't necessarily think you. I think you should take heed to what she's saying, right? So she asked her what did she envision between she and him, right? She says, she can see them living together, but it's one day at a time, but she can see them living together, and if they can have a real relationship, right? So his mom says he's a monster, and she can't trust his bitch ass as far as she can throw him, right? And that he lies to her. And honestly, I do believe his mother, right? I believe his mother. Granted, the woman is drunk as a skunk, right? She's drunk as hell, but I literally do believe that she's telling LACEY the truth. I just don't know why LACEY didn't. LACEY got upset talking about, you ain't gonna talk to me like I'm a child. She said, no, she did raise her voice, right? She did raise her voice, but I think LACEY got upset because LACEY was hearing the truth and LACEY didn't want to hear that truth. I literally believe that's really why LACEY got up and walked away from that table, because LACEY was being faced with the truth that she probably herself has been wondering, is he being real with me? Is he telling me the truth about things, right? I think LACEY heard the truth and LACEY wasn't ready for that truth, and she just said, you know what, fuck it. I'm getting up and I'm leaving. I really believe that's what it was, right? You guys can let me know what you guys think, and we'll discuss it in the comments below. And then you guys, let's move over to the last couple. So the last couple is going to be KAYLAH and MARTEL, right? Oh, KAYLAH. Girl, why? Is all I gotta ask. MARTEL was in prison for 13 years. You waited 13 years for a man, right? Why did you waste your life? Baby, only way I'm going to wait 13 years for anybody that goes to prison is if we were married before you went in prison. Now, if we are just in a relationship and ain't no ring, ain't no wedding vows been exchanged, deuces to you, right? You going to jail, I'll write you, I'll come visit you every now and again. But as far as me putting my life on hold for you, it sure ain't happening, right? It will never happen. And I tell you, be like, hey, baby, so I'm going to need you to hold it down for me. I got you, boo. I got you. So that means you ain't going to talk to nobody? No, absolutely not. I'm going to date and live my life. You behind bars, not me. I'm on the outside world and I'm going to live my life. But you supposed to be down for me. I am. I will write you, I will send you money, and I will come and visit you. But other than that, you can't ask me to do nothing else. You can't ask me not to date nobody, and you can't ask me not to have sex, because it's going to happen. Now, when you get out of jail, if I have not moved on and got married by that point, we can see where things, where we end up, right? But at this point, we're on an indefinite break. So if you're in prison for 13 years, we're on a break for 13 years, right? Like I said, if I happen to, get married, have kids in that time frame, oh, the fuck will. Sorry to you. Once you get out, we can still be friends, but everything else, it's a wrap. And like I said, if I'm single, we can pick up where we left off, right? But as far as me putting my life on hold, I wish the fuck I would. You got me fucked up with Chuck. Ain't no way in hell. Now, I'm glad she did have sex, right? I'm glad she did have sex, because, baby, it ain't no way. It ain't no way in hell I'd put my life on hold for you. You did the crime. You doing the time, not me. Oh, no. No. So they were on the way to the halfway house, right? his phone was blowing up. And at one point she said, put it on speakerphone. He says, nah, this ain't one of them kind of conversations. I was like, I believe Martel got a secret, right? Because he put every other person on speakerphone, but this one particular person, he ain't want to put them on speakerphone, right? And then we see him, his mom and his niece, they met him, as they were getting ready to get to the halfway house, right? And that was really pretty much it for Martel and KAYLAH. Now, KAYLAH does want to put a track on his phone. He says, nah, man, I've been tracked for the last 13 years. I'll give him that, right? He's right. He has been tracked for 13 years, so I would be like, yeah, I mean, I ain't got nothing to hide, but I don't want you to track me. Like, I've been tracked by I've been tracked for the last 13 years. I want a little bit of freedom. No. If you want to show your location, cool. I'm not doing that. It ain't gonna happen. But hey, you guys, that's it for Love After Lockup. I want you guys to get in the comment section. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode and what you guys think of the season so far. So you guys leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and until the next time, you guys, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands, you guys. Wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed, and I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.